The Bifrost, the shimmering, multicolored rainbow bridge that served as the only connection between the celestial realm of Asgard and the mortal world of Midgard, quivered violently under the immense weight of the approaching armies. The bridge, a marvel of divine engineering, seemed to groan and strain as if it might shatter under the pressure. At the edge of the Bifrost stood Heimdall, the ever-vigilant guardian of the gods. His golden armor reflected the dim, ominous light that now enveloped the realms, and his sword, Hofun, gleamed with an otherworldly brilliance. Heimdall's piercing eyes, capable of seeing across vast distances and through the veils of the nine realms, were the first to catch sight of the approaching doom. He saw the frost giants, towering and brutal, their icy breath visible even from afar, led by their ruthless king, Thrym. Alongside them marched the grotesque and twisted hordes of Hell, the realm of the dead, commanded by the trickster god, Loki, whose once handsome face now bore a mask of malice and vengeance. Behind these armies, the colossal form of Fenrir, the great wolf, bounded across the land with terrifying speed. His fur bristled with primal energy, and his eyes burned with an insatiable hunger, a hunger that could only be sated by the destruction of the gods themselves. Heimdall, knowing that the time for warning had passed, raised the Gjallarhorn to his lips. The horn, crafted by the gods to signal the coming of Ragnarok, emitted a deep, resonant note that echoed across the realms. The sound was not merely a call to arms, it was a mournful dirge, a final summons that would be heard by every living being in Asgard, Midgard, and beyond. The gods of Asgard, awakened by the horn's call, gathered in the great hall of Valhalla. Odin, the Allfather, his face grim and resolute, led the charge. His ravens, Hugin and Munin, circled above, their cries adding to the cacophony of impending war. The gods, clad in their finest armor and wielding weapons of immense power, marched forth to meet their enemies, their hearts heavy with the knowledge that this battle would determine the fate of all creation. The battlefield was a nightmarish landscape of chaos and carnage, a place where the very fabric of reality seemed to unravel. The clash of steel against steel rang out like a discordant symphony, punctuated by the guttural roars of frost giants and the bone-chilling howls of wolves. The ground, once fertile and green, was now churned into a sea of mud and blood. Odin, the Allfather, rode into the heart of the battle atop Sleipnir, his eight-legged steed. The horse moved with unnatural grace, its hooves striking the ground like thunder. In Odin's hand was Gungnir, his spear, which never missed its mark. With each thrust, the spear struck down giants and monsters alike, their bodies falling like wheat before a scythe. Thor, the god of thunder, was a whirlwind of destruction. His mighty hammer, Mjolnir, crackled with lightning as he swung it in wide arcs, crushing the skulls of frost giants and sending the monstrous hordes of hell flying. The air around him was thick with the smell of ozone and the screams of the dying. Yet despite the gods' valor and strength, the tide of destruction seemed unstoppable. The sheer number of their enemies was overwhelming, and the battlefield was littered with the bodies of fallen warriors, both divine and mortal. Amidst the chaos, Fenrir, the great wolf, broke free from the chains that had once bound him. The chains, forged by the dwarves and imbued with powerful magic, had been thought unbreakable. But Fenrir's strength had grown beyond measure, and with a mighty roar, he shattered his bonds. His jaws, large enough to swallow a man whole, snapped shut around Tyr, the god of war. Tyr, who had once sacrificed his own hand to bind the wolf, fought with all his might. His sword flashed in the dim light as he struck at Fenrir's snout. But the wolf's ferocity was unmatched. With a final, brutal shake of his massive head, Fenrir ended Tyr's life, the god's body falling limp in the beast's jaws. The loss of Tyr, a symbol of courage and sacrifice, sent a wave of despair through the ranks of the gods. As if the situation could not grow more dire, Jormungandr, the world serpent, emerged from the depths of the ocean. The serpent, so large that it could encircle the entirety of Midgard, rose from the churning waters, its scales glistening with a sickly, greenish hue. Its massive form cast a shadow over the battlefield, and its eyes glowed with a malevolent intelligence. Thor, ever the protector of Midgard, knew that he alone could face the serpent. With a roar of defiance, he charged at Jormungandr, Mjolnir raised high. The battle between the god of thunder and the world serpent was cataclysmic. Each blow from Mjolnir sent shockwaves through the earth, and the serpent's thrashing tail caused tidal waves that swallowed entire swathes of land. Thor, with a mighty swing of his hammer, struck Jormungandr's head, the impact echoing like a thunderclap. But the serpent, in its death throes, managed to sink its venomous fangs into Thor's flesh. The god of thunder staggered, his strength fading as the serpent's venom coursed through his veins. With a final, labored breath, Thor fell to the ground, his hammer slipping from his grasp. The light in his eyes dimmed, and the protector of Midgard was no more. The battlefield fell silent for a moment, as if the world itself mourned the loss of its greatest champion.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this journey through mythology and history, don't forget to like the video. It really helps others discover this content. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an epic story. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below and tell us what you think about this tale and what mythological or historical legends you'd like us to explore next. Your ideas shape this channel. See you in the next adventure.